Hello, you are welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be looking at the difference between bad wheel bearing and bad CV joint. But before we continue, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, and share this video. Constant velocity joints, popularly called CV joints, play an important role in car movement. Essentially, it allows a drive shaft to transmit power at a varied angle while maintaining a constant rotational speed while reducing friction. When the CV joints start wearing off, the symptoms may be likened to that of a bad wheel bearing, although there are sharp contrasts. So, today, I will be sharing with you how to tell the difference between a bad wheel bearing bad CV joint. A rubber boot protects constant velocity joints, and once there is a crack in the boot, pollutants can fall in, which could damage the joints. But before it is completely in ruins, it presents some symptoms. Acting swiftly will prevent other issues that may affect transmission. CV joints are in charge of delivering power from the transmission to the wheels of your car with little friction. It is one of the constant vehicle issues motorists come upon now and then. How to test CV joints? As soon as your CV joint starts wearing off, some evident indications include the following. 1. Vibrations. This is one of the clear signs that you need to change your CV joints. Once the CV joints are bad, you'll notice that your car will be jerking, vibrating, while driving. A confirmation of this is that as you try to accelerate, the vibration increases, and the vehicle performance is limited. 2. Grease leakage. Another obvious sign that you should replace your CV joints is as soon as you start seeing grease leaking. The leakage could be from the boots, which protect and prevent pollutants from entering the joints. Once it starts leaking, it could mean that the boot is getting old or bad. 3. Cracking noises while in motion. You can easily tell if it is a joint fault from the cracking noise you hear while in motion. This could arise from a front-wheel drive vehicle's inner joint or a rear-wheel drive vehicle's inner and outer joints. There are ways to check a CV joint for play. To do this, follow this steps: 1. Thorough inspection. The simplest way to check a CV joint for play is to inspect the rubber boots placed close to the wheel on the axle shaft. The boot has been weakened or damaged if it shows symptoms of deterioration or is covered in grease. 2. Check if there is a jerking sound when accelerating. You can turn the steering wheel completely to one side and accelerate gently while spinning in a fast session. Do the same in the opposite direction. If you hear cracking, it is time to replace the CV joints. How to check which CV joint is bad and what you need to do. Sometimes, you may notice some of these problems listed as symptoms of a bad CV joint, yet, the joints are still very much okay. So, the perfect way to find out any fault in the joints, especially which of the joints is bad, is by taking a proper look at the CV joints. If they're worn, or you see grease on the wheels, then you should call your auto mechanic or, better still, take a long drive to see if there are some other signs you might notice while in motion. How to tell the difference between a bad wheel bearing bad CV joint. A wheel bearing is made up of a race of ball bearings held together by a steel rod. This is found in the center of your wheels. The wheel bearings are tightly packed inside this hub and ride on a metal axle shaft, reducing friction while the wheel rotates. The main function of the bearings is for your wheels to function properly, specifically, for the hub, tire, and components to work together. Most times, many people mistake bearing problems with CV joints. Although they are similar, the sounds are different. A bad wheel bearing makes a humming, squealing, and growling noise, while a bad CV axle or joint, on the other hand, will make a clear, recognizable clinking noise when the joint is loose or has worn out. Can a bad CV joint affect transmission? Yes. A bad CV joint can affect transmission when the car is vibrating. The frequent shaking can put much stress on bearings and other components. By so doing, CV joints will be unable to balance appropriately during rotation. The vibrations will increase the faster you accelerate. When vibrations are too strong, the car gets hard to control, and the transmission will be affected too, which is risky. What causes CV joint noise when driving straight? 1. Inadequate lubrication. When your CV joints aren't properly lubricated, friction builds up, stopping your CV axle from rotating freely. If your CV joints aren't properly lubricated, they can make a noise every time the axle turns. This implies you will hear noise from the inner CV joints when driving your car. 2. Worn axles. When the axles are bad, it will cause CV joints noise. So, quickly change the worn-out axles once you notice this, and the noise will cease. 3. Inner CV joint failure symptoms. There are inner and outer CV joints on each CV axle. The joints allow the CV axle shaft to move up and down when the vehicle travels over obstacles. The front wheels can rotate since the exterior joints rotate too. One of the indicators of a deteriorating inner CV joint is vibration during acceleration. Other signs to watch include a clicking sound when turning the car steering and a creaking sound on acceleration. In conclusion, CV joints are an essential component in a vehicle. It would be best to replace it once you start seeing those obvious symptoms of a bad CV joint before it becomes too late. Because it relies on the grease inside the boot to function properly, keeping it clean and free of impurities or leaks will greatly extend the life of a front-wheel drive transmission system. This is all we've got in today's video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, and share this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.